Sorry, guys, I don't usually host Zoom meetings, so I didn't know I had to admit everybody. Sorry about that. Okay. Like I said, sorry, I don't usually host Zoom meetings, so I didn't know I'm supposed to let everybody in. We'll give it a few more minutes for everyone to be able to show. We're just waiting for a few more people to show before we'll start, if that's okay with everyone. Everyone look at the list of participants and see if there's anybody that we're missing. And if there's not, then we'll just get started.
I know some of them are counting on the recording, so
And it is
I,
recording.
okay.
Okay. Well, do you want to go first then? And I guess discuss why we're here.
I think I would like to hear all your legwork and everything that you've been witnessing, I guess, for the last 6 months.
Okay. Maybe Abby could start if she would like to start and give us a synopsis because I just came on in April. Well, I guess March.
Sure. Best that I can. And Mandy, you fill in just because you've been probably a little bit more hands-on with some of your guys' discovery. So a lot of our boards have been serviced by the BAS and had not our own AE. So Casper, the state came to us and said, pretty much we would like you to all join one large board, and or you go out on your own and get your own AE. We can no longer service you as a BAS from the BAS. They just say that it's a conflict of interest from the state board to the local boards. So that's kind of in a long run what's brought us here, just because there's a lot of discussion around that. And how do we all join 6 different boards from all over the state into one? And that's where Mandy, and they've had a committee, kind of comes in. And Mandy, you can fill us in terms of looking at different options and where do we go. And I've just always been of the notion that real estate is local. And I think it's really hard to join such a large locale, if you will, into one primary area, where we would still like to see benefits of how do we still service our communities outside of just the transactions.
Yeah, I mean,
Man, go ahead.
oh, I appreciate you giving us that little synopsis. So yeah, I was asked to participate in finding ways that we, as a Sweetwater County Board, could possibly go forward and either have our own AE or choose to join a different board. A couple of the things that we were told is we couldn't disband and be like you went, there was no longer a board and you were at large. We were told previously, and then we went to the state meeting. I was just looking, it was on June 18th and 19th. So we went there to Cheyenne, learned from, his name is Hutch, he goes by Hutch, and he is out of Oklahoma Association of Realtors, and he helps boards either unite together or disband and do their own thing, but he's here to facilitate, oh, we got somebody join in, facilitate, what do you call it, like board mergers is essentially what he does. One thing that we did learn was that, well, we were told that you and Uinta had all been, and Sublet had been notified that you guys would have to join a board, and that those boards would reach out, because at that time we were fairly certain in the Sweetwater County that we just didn't think we could do an AE financially. Looking at our numbers, and I can go over those in a minute. I would like to stay as a board, but financially we just have to be careful, and is it realistic for us? But learning what we have, it sounds like nobody in Uinta County, or Sublette County for that matter, was actually notified that they would be required to join a board, because it is board choice. You can be in Uinta and be a part of Sheridan County if you really wanted to. But it's always good to participate with those who are around you, because, being a part of that MLS and things like that, that's what's probably most financially sound for being in your area. So the things that we came across, we got an offer from Sheridan, and then they quickly went away. And then we had an offer we presented an offer to Teton County, and they seemed really excited about it. And then we found out just this last week at like 4:50, I think it was on Friday, that they were no longer interested in taking us on. So it's just been, I guess, frustrating, because at 84 agents in our area, if we increase our dues, and just the dues, I'm not talking total, but just the dues to be on Sweetwater County, we have to put them to go from 230. We need to increase them to probably about 375, maybe even 365. We do have some money in the bank, which I think will help cover those expenses to get the AE going. I did find out on Friday that we had a proposal, which I've known about from the Northwest Board, But instead of joining the Northwest board, that association executive has offered to be our AE if we would like her to do that or him. We're still waiting for those numbers, what they would charge to take on another 84 agents. I think the only way to make this possible is for our boards, our areas to unite. And I'd like to maybe hear from you guys your thoughts on that, because I don't know what your dues are now. I don't know anything about other than you're disbanded. You guys are at large, so I don't really know much more than that.
I don't really know I mean, because basically we have no board right now, so we have no association fees with a specific board. So are you saying to join the Sweetwater board, it would be approximately 375 per agent per month, or is that per year?
Yeah, it would be 375 per year. So I don't know what your dues look like when you pay, because here is from the Teton board. I don't know if you guys can see that. But when you look and see, you'll obviously pay NAR, and then you'll definitely pay Wyoming Realtors. So I'd imagine where they're servicing your guys's continuing education, you pay them some kind of a fee. Teton Board of Realtors, to join them is 330 a year. And then their MLS is 400, and they collect that up front, which is pretty much almost what we pay being a part of the Casper MLS. So that number with the Teton board wouldn't be, for if it was Sweetwater County, it would have to be higher, because at 330 per person, even with the AE would be part-time, because I can't imagine we would have enough agents to make an AE full-time. In the beginning, definitely. But where the AE out of Northwest is already trained, we wouldn't have to spend money on that, sending them to training and getting them up to speed. They would just take over starting essentially January 1. But yeah, so that fee to be a part of the board, I think the best way, and it's hard to ask for money because you guys have already paid dues in January, or I guess really December. If you become a Sweetwater County board agent, a part of our board, then you get a vote and you get to decide where you guys are going to go and what that direction looks like. But I know it's a hard ask. So I don't know. We don't really have a whole lot.
Mandy,
Go ahead.
sorry, Mandy, this is Missy Alardi. So I think right now what we end up paying is 700 and something for the MLS and everything else. Can you tell me if you join with Northwest, are they still using Paragon, or are they using Flex? Are they using Super? Are they using SentryLock? What will change?
So they make their agents pay $348 a year to be a part of their association. And I apologize, I don't have their thing right up. Give me 1 second. They are not a part of Paragon, as far as I understand. They're part of Flex MLS, but we don't have to join their MLS. We could choose to continue to stay with Casper MLS, but I don't have good feelings for Casper. So I would love to do everything and anything we can to port our information over from the Casper MLS, because it is actually according to the NAR bylaws. And I'd be happy to share that with anybody in Google Docs if you'd like to read it. That information that we have put into the Casper MLS is actually owned by the brokers. So we can demand to have that information. We were told from Flex MLS that they would port that information over for historical data for the last 10 years. They would charge us $70,000. I don't think it's going to take that kind of money. I think they're just looking to see if they can make a fast one, honestly, out of desperation. But with that being said, I'll have to look and see. I've got it in an email, and if you'll give me a second, I can round that up. But we have options with Northwest where we can choose to just have them do our BAS fee, or we can choose to join their board. But those fees are going to look pretty much the same. You'll still have the $360 that we paid to Wyoming Realtors, the annual NAR dues, and then whatever you pay for your MLS, which I would imagine I don't know if you guys participate with additional MLSs out of Utah or Idaho or whatnot. but it would still be about $31 a month to stay with the Casper MLS. If we wanted to join the Northwest MLS as well, I'll have to look and see what that number is.
And Missy, I don't know, Mandy, your thoughts as well. I think initially we had talked like maybe that's something that we discuss in the future. So far, Casper has said that's fine if you want to continue to use their MLS, because that's essentially where the money is, right? So every year as an agent, we pay the national dues, the state dues, and then a local board dues, which you guys don't have, but from my understanding, in a way, they're charging you extra because you are at large. And I don't know if any of you maybe have that number. I've heard it's somewhere maybe like $150. The MLS we pay into Casper, we have along with you guys. I think even later that might be able to be something that can be brought over. We're just kind of thinking as of right now. I mean, even to the point you tell me, Mandy, where if we're able to take on Uinta and kind of become one, we're happy to change the board name if we need to represent all of us, just so that, you know, we have kind of a unified front, so to speak. And then Northwest had said we would be happy to offer one of our AEs, even as part-time, and what that looks like. Like, do you want everything that we do? Do you want just the paperwork aspect? So like Mandy said, we don't have a firm price on that yet. We really are just trying to brainstorm on what's best for our board and hopefully you guys as well. And, you know, being able to interlock elbows and kind of have a voice in this corner of the state.
Thank you for that. Yeah, I think it would be important to change the name. It would be, if people were to join, make a vote, it would obviously be prorated. I'm looking at numbers here and it says at-large boards who are being managed by Wyoming Realtors, they pay $250 for their local dues. So, and that was something that Kylie shared. So I could be wrong. You'll have to look at your dues information, but that's what she has disclosed to us. So if the board is at large, they pay an extra $250. We pay an additional $100, but $250 makes sense if they're at large. They are on Flex MLS, and this is affecting 6 boards. So Sweetwater County, North Platte, Douglas, Fremont, Carbon, and Buffalo. So they had wanted us to all merge, but Buffalo was not interested in that at all. And it kind of went south from there. So, which is fine. I don't have anything in common with Buffalo. And our latest negotiation with Casper, which I thought was it was something that really made me angry, to be honest. When we made our proposal to sign our entire bank account over to them, which is around $60,000, which I know isn't a lot of money, but it's something to be considered. We asked for local education to either be considered along I-80. So we wanted in-person education or continuing education, and we wanted it to be brought to Carbon County, bring it to Sweetwater County next year, and then the following year bring it to Uinta County. So we each had an opportunity to be on I-80 and to travel between our areas so we don't have to go to Casper. And we were denied immediately. They said our continuing education is opened. We have it in Casper and it's first come, first serve. And I would think for $60,000, they should at least consider bringing it a little closer to us. So that should tell you how much they appreciate other agents around the state and that we're really just gonna line their pockets. And that's just my own opinion. You guys can take what you want from their response, but that's what I took it as. So I don't know what else information you guys
Yeah,
need.
questions that you guys have.
So Mandy and Abby, you guys are both members of the Sweetwater Board of Realtors, right?
I'm a director.
So what is the local feeling? Do you guys feel about absorbing Uinta County, Lincoln County?
So we've had some discussion, but I guess that was, we're not going to know if we don't talk to you guys, let you know at least what we've heard, and, you know, kind of present sort of an offer, our thoughts of, you know, what that might look like, and get your guys' input as well. I think that we have, I don't know if we're split, Mandy, but I feel like we have quite a few brokers on board that are open to ideas, that want to hopefully keep a lot of our board activity local. And that, you know, we have some that are like, we don't care, we'll just go and join Casper. We just want to have access to the MLS and make money. And I'm like, wow, you know, what does that do for your connection with your community, in terms of how are we giving back outside of those transactions, and, you know, doing the different things that you do. I know that it's been a while for you guys, but just being able to have that localized service. That's why we don't hire people from Newcastle to list our house, right? Not saying we're perfect and we have all of our poop in a group, so to speak, but you know, that we can band together and do something really neat, and especially because we border. I know that that line, our county lines crossed quite a bit in terms of just transactions, right? But then how do we keep extra money we've donated to, you know, there's been car wrecks and people that have been injured, or different, you know, sponsorship ideas. How do we do that for our local communities, so they see us more than just, oh, those, you know, those real estate agents trying to make another dollar off their transaction. Like, we actually give back and put time and effort into our communities. So I think right now, it's kind of half and half. I don't know your thoughts, Mandy, on our local thoughts.
I think the biggest issue we have is people participating. Because if we keep it local and we don't join another board, we still have to maintain a board. We still have to do our core standards. But I think where there's strength in numbers, I think it's ideal. It'd be nice to have the more the merrier. So I know you guys haven't had a board for a while. I don't really know how long. It doesn't seem like a lot of people know how long, but what are your thoughts on creating our own board? Is that even something anyone's interested in? I know we're all busy. Granted, I have plenty of other things to do than this, but it's become passionate for me because I don't like losing a voice. I don't like losing, I don't know. I don't like being told by Casper, too bad, so sad. It's our playpen and you have to abide by our rules, when they're really going to benefit more than anybody. So I don't know. I'd like to hear people's thoughts.
Did you say which lock boxes, if we switched, if it's super or Sentry Lock?
It is Sentry Lock with Casper. We don't have a lockbox system here.
Okay, we have the Supra system, and I think that's pretty important to keep, but I don't know what everybody's voice is on that. And I have a statement from 2016 on our dues, and it's just a little bit less than what you said. So it's not anything new really for us. The war dues, and the state dues and everything were really close. They've raised them, which it's been 10 years. So, just the core standards, I think, might be really hard to do unless we do little satellite places and bookmark or earmark money, because people are going to say, no, I want to support this, and somebody's going to want to support something else, but we could also vote at that time.
100%. I like that. So tell me about your Supra. Who holds the boxes? Where do you get them from? Who distributes them?
The brokers, individually. Tanya, at Uinta, she will distribute them if there's new agents, I guess. But the brokers have them, and they're all kind of.
Do you have to buy the box? What does that cost?
We already paid for everything. It's been a while. I don't know if Brittany remembers. It was quite a bit of money. If I remember right, I want to say thousands.
Oh, I'm sure it was.
Not 10,000.
40,000?
Yeah, not
I bet
10,000.
more.
Was a lot.
When we did our estimate, I think it was back in 2016, about to buy the boxes was gonna be about $40,000, and I could
And it
probably.
was only like 16 of us at the time, I think, too.
We had been paying monthly, so we pretty much had them paid off. And so when we bought out our contract, I think it only ended up costing us like $4,000 or $5,000.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So
So
go
it's
ahead.
it's a perk. So for us, we're like, probably, shoot, that would suck.
I love it, but we have 60,000 in the bank. Why wouldn't we invest that money to make sure everybody could have that opportunity? And then, yeah, I think so. Supra. And then what does the monthly fee cost? Don't you have a key or
Oh,
something?
like
$12.
$12, yeah. And when we had a board before, like inspectors weren't allowed to open, and now they are, and they can, and so that was kind of good. And appraisers and stuff too, so they can do it, or you can do a one-time code too. So that's nice.
One thing that I like about that is the fact that it keeps that information going. So you can always have access to it.
There's some ways, there's some ways I feel like being able to help each other, right? Because there's some areas that we're probably in the Stone Ages and that we can help each other and,
Right.
have some different ideas. I guess that's my biggest thing is like, you guys don't have to join us. Mainly, when I made a couple phone calls, I just wanted you guys to know what we kept hearing down the pipeline. And as somebody who really believes in transparency, didn't want all of a sudden you guys to be like, oh my gosh, we have to join.
Right.
We appreciate that.
Join a board. We are just like we would with our, clients in a transaction. You need to know what your options are.
Mhm.
So my thoughts well, we can join Casper. We're going to have higher dues and we get nothing in return. If we have a little bit higher dues, but we're local and we get to decide what we get to do with those and how they're invested in our communities, just like you're talking, the lock boxes, etc.
But I think the thing that was most disappointing is finding out, because I've got this map, because I'm just a little obsessed, but I highlighted everybody who was at large, right?
Sure.
And then in talking to Wyoming Realtors, their take on it, and then to find out, I don't like being lied to. Once you lie to me once, then I just don't trust you. So having Casper lie to us and then us really call him out at the Wyoming Realtors, then it started to get nasty. And nasty as in not responding to emails. We'd ask questions about, what fees are being assessed to other boards, and them saying, well, you have to ask that board. They wouldn't relinquish any information. So yeah, I don't know. It would be nice to have the Supra, the boxes. That wouldn't be a hard thing, I don't think, to convince anybody to get on top of that. I don't know if they're from 2016, if they're due for updates or new batteries. I know that can be an expense. I imagine you guys don't have a bank account where you guys haven't been meeting and collecting dues from that. I guess I'll just assume that, but I know the dues would be prorated. We wouldn't have any kind of application fees that you would have to pay additionally to be a part of the board. But we were told that we had to have a decision by July 15th, and clearly that's come and gone. And we got a lot of gruff from the state, but our stance is we're going to die on this mountain. So we're either going to get the answers and we're just going to die trying, or we'll end up writing, I don't know, 20 different checks to different organizations, because our bylaws do allow for that. And we'll go at large and we'll make it as difficult as possible for the state, which I know doesn't sound very nice, but I don't give a rat's behind what the state thinks anymore, because they are definitely not working for the agents at this point. They're working for themselves.
That's kind of why we went at large. It was just getting impossible, the core standards, and we were trying. Bridger and Uinta were working really well. We would have meetings. I thought we were all trying, and then it was just an uphill battle.
Do you think we'd have that again? Do you think we would still have that issue?
Probably, but I think now that we're kind of being threatened, we don't really have a choice. So
It feels good.
you still have all your worker bees, and you have the people that follow along, and then maybe some people are at different points in their life and they can help, with the volunteering and getting stuff checked to get core standards met.
And that's fair. We packed I think if we actually sat back and looked at it, I believe probably every office, if not every little area, probably does enough for core standards. It's just about getting it documented.
Right. Yeah. And when do you guys meet? Do you meet monthly, quarterly?
We meet every other month, so we meet six
Okay.
times a year.
Okay.
Obviously we do a Christmas party. We used to do a picnic, but we let that slide. We used to do a cleanup on the interstate. We don't really do that anymore. So we struggle ourselves. I won't say it's roses and unicorns over here, but I think it's possible, between, I don't even know how many agents are in your area. I couldn't even find that out on the MLS. It was kind of,
And we didn't want to ask Casper.
no, we don't trust them.
That's fair.
So we just, yeah, I mean, questions that you guys might have for us and on the core standards, if we're able to conquer and, you know, divide and conquer, so to speak, right?
Because don't you have a year to complete them or something? I can't remember. It's been a while.
I believe we're every 2 years.
Okay. And we dissolved the bank account a couple years ago.
Okay,
So, yeah.
that's okay.
There wasn't a lot in there. We kind of donated it and
I love
paid
it.
Supra, and so
Well, and I know that when we restructure, we'll redo the bylaws and stuff, but I know that when we approached Carbon County to see if they'd be interested in banding together, and those ladies were not, which is fine. They had said that they had approached about rewriting it and having their own separate mini board. I don't, I don't think we really need a board of 15, but maybe a board of 7 would be better to 10. It's hard when you get that many opinions to actually come to, I guess, come to a good vote. But I don't know, what are your guys' thoughts? If you were to join, do you think you would, should we put it out for a vote? I mean, obviously the bylaws will have to be rewritten. I think a new name would be ideal. That way we can show unity. But the reason, I was going to tell you the reason that Casper wanted us to make a decision by July 15th is so that they could announce it in September at convention, which I thought, whatever. It's all a selfish ploy on their part. It's all about looking good. So rather than what's actually best for the agents.
So could we join the meetings via Zoom and, do things that way? 'Cause I know that was a hard thing too, was the traveling back and forth for a lot of people. And then numbers are down and then it becomes pointless.
And I think that's fair, especially maybe Zoom wasn't as big in 2016. I'm trying to think when I actually signed
Yeah.
up. But yeah, it doesn't make sense to be on that interstate. It's not like it's the safest place in the world. So I'd be a fan of that. And maybe we meet monthly until we decide we have everything completed. We feel like we can go bi-monthly, maybe, and we maybe maintain monthly. It's up to you guys. I'm flexible. I'll do whatever you guys want me to do. I just don't want to see us, because once we give up everything to Casper, how the hell do we leave? How do we get ourselves back? And Casper's not, I mean, how far if it's 3.5 hours for us, it's another hour and 15 minutes for you guys to go. So I think realistically, if Casper's not even willing to send local education, what are they good for?
Right.
So I'll shut up now and I'll let you guys discuss, ask questions. You tell me.
I think it makes sense personally to join your board just because we are connected in some way, shape, or form. I've got 2 agents over in Green River and Rock Springs, and I know that would benefit them hugely. So they're going to force us to do it anyway. That is what makes the most sense to me. If we can keep our lock boxes and just maintain them on our own, even, because we all own what we have. So, and I don't know as far as updating them, I don't know what that looks like.
And the batteries are still like over 60% on the ones I've been using lately. So
Yeah, ours are too.
So
I would agree with Bobby. If we're being forced into it, this is really the only thing that makes sense. And to keep it smaller makes it easier where we have more control over what's going on.
And like I mentioned to Abby earlier, this is Misty again. I've got other agents to have a discussion with, but we do like the idea of it being more localized. And we would probably, I would say we would probably be down to join.
Perfect. So, Mandy, you tell me, but part of our discussion, well, sort of in a roundabout way, an idea was given to us. We're not saying you guys have to join now by any means, but as a board, we're going to have a general membership vote on the options and what we're going to do. And so, Mandy, you tell me if it's jumping too far ahead, but we're like, part of that discussion was if we were able to bring you guys on as members at a prorated amount now, and I don't know if there's other ways to do that, but then you would have a vote as well, right? And then it's the majority speaks. As at least my thoughts, a lot of people have said, well, at the end of the day, it's the broker's decisions. And I'm like, yes, we have some brokers who want to go to the Casper board, but maybe not all their agents want to.
Not up to the brokers. I'm so sick and tired of hearing that. Even as a broker, it is completely up to the agents, and it really should be an individual decision and not a bully situation. I'm trying to look for what the prorated amount was. That's why I'm frantic here. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
It
So
would
that's,
be nice to
everyone,
know.
yeah, everyone says, well, it's the brokers, but I'm like, yeah, but every agent pays those dues every year, right? You should be able, you get a vote, you get to have a decision.
It would be nice to know, because I've been on the state website trying to pull brokerages and stuff. But it would be nice to know how many agents we could expect to make it financially plausible. Does anybody?
I think there's like 24 in Uinta. Does that sound right? I can hurry and count.
I think when I looked, I think that was the same number that we had got, but it was those that had closed between, January and like May or something. So maybe everybody sold at least one thing.
Well, yeah, I was counting the other day. I don't know. I can hurry and look it up though too. I don't know how with it on why I'm on the screen with you guys, but maybe on my phone.
Sure.
I could look too. I'm not 100% sure.
And the other thing was Casper wanted to charge us an initial setup fee. And we said, we're not paying you $500 more to be a part of your board. Because I think we're being forced and really had zero. Okay, here it is. So, sorry, give me 1 second. Yeah, so theirs is the Century lockbox, just to make sure. And and if you guys have Supra, I have no problem, because we don't have a favorite here. So if we joined in August, it's $152.50 per person. And since we're already apart, and we wouldn't have to pay, we already paid Wyoming Realtors, we've already paid NAR, so it'd be $152.50. And it jumps down, maybe we could wait for October, because then in October it's $76.25. We could really make them sweat, which I like. And that would save that much more money just to have a vote, because it might even take us that long, July, August, September. Maybe we could have some kind of a commitment. I don't know. The sooner the better. That's my biggest worry. People are going to start freaking out. But yeah, so that would be what it would cost to join this Uinta County. Or am I wrong? Hold on. Sorry, there's too many. No, it'd be 130 to join. And it'd have to be prorated. So let me look. Because we're 130, right, a year. Abby, do you know if they would have to pay a BAS fee?
That I don't know. I don't know who to ask, to be honest. I guess Riley.
Yeah, I could ask Riley.
And And that's if you guys want to, you know, I mean, we're just throwing options out there of how we see that.
And if you want us to join, if you guys want to form a board and we join you, we'd be happy to do it either way. There's no, I don't want you to think we're control freaks. We just need a resolution. And so far what we've been presented is not working out. And maybe it's not working out for a reason. Maybe it's a God thing, but I don't really know.
I feel like it's a good option. I feel like it's probably one of our best options if you guys will take us and you were kind enough to reach out and let us know what was going on and keep us in the
Well,
loop. We
the
appreciate that.
hard part is Bobby and Mandy, you can tell me more because you've had the meetings with them, is they say, well, eventually this is what's going to happen. But we've had so many things where they tell us one thing and then at the last hour, like, oh, you can all join all these other boards, have a representative and make help. No, they're not going to allow us to do that. And so I just hate, you know, for you guys to all of a sudden be halfway through December and be like, oh yeah, by the way, now you need to join the board.
Yeah. Right. Well, and it's going to take some work on our part because in order for us to absorb your area, we have to go through like a whole system. So it'd make it so much easier if everybody would just join Sweetwater and then we don't have to worry about it. And we start worrying about changing the bylaws and doing what we need to do to make it make sense for us. But yeah, I guess at this point, other than trying to, because we have to notify all the touching boards. So let's say Sweetwater chose to absorb Uinta area. We would have to touch all the other boards. So who's ever in Utah, whatever boards are here, whatever touches your area, we have to notify those boards in other states that we're going to assume and absorb your board. Then they would actually get a say with NAR, whether or not they would let that happen. And then you might end up joining someplace in Idaho because they won it. It's kind of a vicious, I don't know, hot mess. But that's
Yeah,
what,
so that's where we came up with like, well, if you just, you know, joined our board, then all the other, I think legalities can take time. Am I right, Mandy? But at least it would kind of
For sure.
jumpstart the process.
and the more input that we can get from you guys, because I mean, we're literally steering this thing blind. But the more input we get from you guys, I think the better off we'll be because we want to keep the culture. We want to keep what you guys do, whether you guys still do your Christmas parties, you know, you still have a line item for that. You still spend your $5,000 on that or whatever you guys do. Keep your, you know, your golf. Maybe you guys do a golf tournament. We're not trying to wreck that.
We don't do anything. We don't have a board.
Oh,
Yeah,
I didn't know if you
we
guys are
haven't
still
done anything
friends.
for
No.
years.
It's like we haven't seen each other in years.
And honestly, like, I think it has been detrimental to our agents. Like, nobody knows what's going on because we don't have meetings. Nobody is, I mean, just the communication between agents, there is none.
We had a meeting about the whole NAR last.
And even, you know, when we would at least have lunches together, I felt like the camaraderie between the agents was much better than it is now.
Mhm.
I
Absolutely.
agree.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a way to survive. Maybe this is being better.
Yeah. I think it'll be good. And it'll keep us all on the same page and keep us like the camaraderie, like she said. And yeah, we had one meeting in September about, you know, the whole lawsuit, but half of the people didn't even come. Like,
We didn't
you
even
know.
have one. Let's just put it, we didn't even have one. You guys are way ahead of us.
Well, because you guys talk all the time, so you probably knew what to do.
Yeah, sure. And this isn't White Claw. No, it's all good.
We wouldn't judge you if it was.
Thank you. I love that. No, I think, you know, I think we can make it work. I really, really do. There's enough people on here. I was hoping for more, but I mean, it happens, right? And if there's an area, if you guys wanted to pull in, Lincoln County, part of Lincoln County, because part of it is in the Teton MLS. That was our board, that was our suggestion to Teton, was to take us on, take you guys on, take on Sublette, and then take on the rest of Lincoln County. And it took them 3 weeks to tell us no. I mean, we must have given them a pretty good run and some good thoughts, but then I don't know. Then I don't also have $500,000, sitting in a bank account just like they do. So I guess they can make better decisions that way, because it would be a lot for them to take us on. And I can appreciate that. But I don't know. Would you guys want to take on part of Lincoln? You
I
probably are.
think some agents might want to, but there's some that are part of the Teton board, so it wouldn't make sense for them. Like I've looked probably about 50-50. Some are part of the Teton, and you'll see on the listing, some are through Teton and some aren't. So it might just depend on the agent. I know we have one in Kimmer, and of course she'll probably just be happy to be on a board, but she's a fairly new agent, so I don't even know if she knows what a board is, but
Okay.
but I think maybe it would be really up to the agents and brokers there, because if they're part of Teton, I don't see why they would pay into ours also.
Sure.
So, but maybe.
I guess they'll be joining Teton then.
Yeah.
It's expensive.
I know.
I'll share
Yeah.
that with you guys. It's expensive.
Yeah.
Any negatives we need to talk about if this were to go forward? Anybody thinking?
Mandy, can I say something? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. So I'm here in South Lincoln, and our North Lincoln folks are Piney, and they really run Piney and Pinedale. So some of Pinedale, though, is still with us. Some of those agents do the dual listings, but a lot of the Pinedale we still have here. Yeah. And then it's really a lot of the big Piney agents are Teton. And then, of course, Afton, Star Valley, they're all pretty much exclusively Teton. So I don't know if, oh gosh, what's his name? Ugh, I can't remember his name. Pinedale Properties. There's a couple of brokerages up there that I could reach out to and just see what their thoughts are, because I don't see them on here. But I would assume that they would want to stay with us. But I haven't spoken with them. But as far as South Lincoln, I've looked into the Teton, and it's just way too expensive. I'm not interested. So I think this is a great idea. I appreciate you guys putting this forward and helping us out. Yeah.
You bet. Anybody else?
Yeah, and if you could reach out to them, Heidi, or you wanted to, if there was more interest, it's just, I feel like it helps us come up with a better projected outlook for where things can go.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'll just give you some quick numbers just so we can have it recorded. When we were factoring, because we really want to keep the AE part-time, right? We don't want to be paying insurance and all that stuff. So if we paid an association executive at 32 hours a week, which I think it will be at first, and then maybe go to 20 hours a week, but 32 hours a week at $25 an hour is $41,600 per year. So that would mean that we would need to increase the dues from 130. We need to increase them at least $245 each person per year. But then if we were able to get away with a $20 an hour, we can't just do whomever, right? Just because they have a heartbeat, we actually have to have somebody who has some secretarial skills, and maybe I would love to see maybe if it was somebody who was a previous agent, maybe they were licensed, but they were inactive, then they would have a better idea of how to police it and school it, and I guess how to interpret better. But at 20 hours a week, at $20 an hour, that's $20,800 a year. And that would more than easy cover, even if we were, to do a $200 increase and go to $330 a year, that would definitely cover an AE. So I think it's financially responsible. The number that we got from the Kentucky guy was $32 an hour. And I said, I just can't see paying a secretary. And I'm not being demeaning at all, but I can't imagine paying an AE $32 an hour. I mean, that's like paying people in the Tron mines, you know, that's a lot of money for someone to keep paperwork and to send out emails. So I don't know. Tell me your thoughts. Do you think $25 an hour is a reasonable fee to pay somebody, a reasonable wage?
I think we need to hear Brittany's input on this one. I know that that was one of the biggest, well, another reason that we did dissolve is because it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work for that person.
Yeah.
And when you don't have,
$25, I think, if they're not an active agent who's out trying to sell real estate and that's their job, I think that that is probably a fair wage. I would even say a little bit more, honestly, because it was a lot.
Okay. That's good to know.
And you want somebody reliable who's actually going to do the job, and the wage is going to determine the type of person that you get.
Well, and I'm thinking if they either choose to work out of their house or we could have an office somewhere where you could go in and visit them, you know, if you needed, I don't know. I don't know if anybody would actually need to go and visit with an AE other than doing it, you know, through email or phone. But, you know, we could set it up pretty nice, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I've never done this before, so I would love to hear some thoughts on it. Because when I came on to the Sweetwater County Board, we had just gotten rid of the AE. And she actually worked out of our office. She was licensed, but she was not practicing, which I think is also ideal. Like Brittany said, we need to make sure that somebody is not competition, right? Because how do you have them judge? What if it's their broker that they need to, I guess, question? There might be some issues there. So we just need to be able to, you know, protect the integrity of that position.
so you guys don't currently have an AE.
We do not. We use Wyoming Realtors. Yeah.
I guess I specifically, I'm interested and I would like to talk to my agents about it and just make sure, because I've got one in Kemmer also. So it kind of affects me all the way around. But I agree with the cohesiveness of things, and why not work together to do it?
Awesome.
So would this go into effect January 1st?
Well, that's kind of our proposal, is that, if it's something that you guys wanted to do, and if you wanted to come on sooner, the membership vote for everybody that is a member of Sweetwater County Board of Realtors. If you were a member sooner, then you get to have a say as well, right? Can't promise anything, but that was at least, I think, part of the idea, right, Mandy?
So when do you guys need an official answer by, or do you have to go back to your board and make sure everybody's on board before we join? Or could we join and then have the vote, or how does?
I would prefer if you guys would join and then we do the vote. My plan is to go back. They're going to ask questions. How many are going to come on? You know, what was the thoughts from them? You know, what changes are going to be necessary? And obviously I'll identify quite a few things, right? Like Zoom meetings, you know, maybe we meet every month, you know, the things that we've talked about in this meeting. But the biggest thing is to know how many we're going to have, because if it's zero, we have already decided as a Sweetwater County Board that 84 is just not enough to sustain an AE having 84 members. So if we don't get enough, then it just isn't financially feasible. We don't have enough support for that. We do have a lot of opposition, right? It's very divided.
Yeah.
Mandy, how many is enough? Have you calculated that number?
I have, so if we can get another 20, I know we could make that work.
And is that including everybody on our board currently, Mandy, or if we lose some?
That was 84 plus 20, so that I put it at 100.
Sure. And I think, I mean, this is just my thoughts. If we, some of them might be more swayed after we tell them some of our responses and interactions with Casper. It still may not make a difference. But if you guys could kind of maybe talk to your agents, and like you said, you have some in Kimmer, the whole 9 yards, and we were able to get an estimated number, would definitely help.
I think because obviously this can't happen in a day, but it would be nice maybe if we could make a decision by the end of the month. Do you guys think that that's a reasonable expectation to have a discussion with the agents and have them at least give you a way? Yes, we want to go that route, or absolutely not. We don't. I think that should be enough time. And then if we have the numbers, then we move forward with immediately changing the name of the board, finding something that's cohesive for all of us, getting the bylaws changed. That way we're in compliance by the end of the year. And then Casper can take a flying leap. We don't have to take any more direction from them, which is ideal for me. I'm just being selfish now.
And so can we just communicate with the two of you via email or whatever, once we have those numbers established within each of our brokerages and go from there?
I'll put my email in the chat. So you guys can take it from there. And then I'll also send out a link. And then if you guys can send it out to everybody, we'll put it on YouTube so you guys can share it that way. And then get us some feedback. That would be great. I could even send out like a Google Doc and you guys could fill it out. I don't know. I'll do whatever you guys want me to do, whatever's easiest for you guys to communicate and let us know. But our plan was to send out some kind of a feeler in email and to get some kind of a response back, whether warm or cold or whatever you guys are ready. But I'll do that now. My email in there.
I think that's great, Mandy. I think that end of the month will give my team probably plenty of time to have a discussion. There's 7 of us.
I work Monday to Friday, and then once a month, everyone has to work on Saturday.
Let's see. So how many brokerages do you guys have just in Uinta? Do you guys know?
There's like 8, I think.
Okay.
And so Leslie has one, Lisa has one, Carter, Cody,
Okay.
and then there's Unity, Caldwell, Uinta, and then you guys in the valley. Is it just you and Holly, Bobby?
No, there's Bridger Valley Realty too, and that's Vanessa's with.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So there's 3 of us.
Okay. Yeah, there's like 20 agents just in Uinta, in Evanston, sorry. And so I don't know how many then in the valley.
Okay.
We have 4 in our office.
Okay.
So
I have 7 in mine.
I think Holly has what, 3 or 2? Her, Penny.
I think, yeah, I think it's just her and Penny now. I think. I'm not sure though.
7, 8, 9. We have around like what, 13 then?
Yeah, I would say that 13 to 15, something like that.
Yeah. So that's like 35.
Mm-hmm.
I think, I don't know. I think Carter would be on board and
I sent him an
Cody.
email yesterday and I didn't see him on our list, but
Yeah. I'm surprised him and Cody aren't on here, but Cody, I think he joined.
Bonnie, I think Real is with Cheyenne though, so he has to do what Real does. So I don't know that because he's not a broker. I don't know that he has a choice. Carter has to kind of do what Real is going to do.
That's fair.
And I spoke to Cody yesterday too, and I think I kind of feel like he's going to feel the same way that we
Right.
all do. He had a closing, so
Yeah.
he couldn't be here. I told him I'd report back. There were a couple of people that I told him I would report back to.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, he joined, I think, when we were still aboard, so he's familiar. So,
Okay. Okay.
oh, I didn't see that. Okay. Oh, so she's already.
Okay, perfect. All right, anybody else have any questions or discussion?
When is your guys' next meeting? Should we plan to go there?
We haven't said it yet. Oh,
Okay.
or maybe it is. Hold on. I know that they have one coming up. Abby might know better.
A general membership meeting in August. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And sure, the date.
The second Wednesday. I think it's August 13th. Does that sound right?
It sounds right.
I promise
And
we'll put together then. Let me see. I think it's the second Wednesday. I got
Where
it. Calendar.
do you guys change where you meet, or is it a set place?
We move it around to different places. Yeah. Sorry, just looking. Shoot. Okay. It's probably on my desk at home. Anyways, I have it written in there for the year. I don't have it here, so.
Are the meetings for all agents and brokers, or is it more just an exclusive broker meeting, or does everyone go?
Everyone.
Okay.
Yeah. We do broker breakfast. We do things like that just for brokers. Occasionally, I don't know how often.
I think we have a broker breakfast once a year. And then at one point we did, like Mandy said, we used to have, used to be more like a picnic. And then it was really just a meeting in August, right? At one of the parks, then we would have lunch.
So when I did the picnic, because I would do it every year, before somebody else took it over, we would always do that in Green River because they can allow alcohol, open container over in Green River. So that's why we did it there. And then the Christmas party was usually in Rock Springs because that's where they could have facilities large enough to host all the agents. And it was always successful. And then we do something called the Boo Bash, and we would dress up for Halloween. And then all the money raised for that, we usually have auction items, and then we would donate that to some charity in town.
So would we split, if we did that, split that between like the counties on the things that were raised?
Well, I think it would be nice if we did. Yeah, it wouldn't make sense to
Right.
hoard it for one side or the other. We do something called Pack the Pickup, where we gather and we donate food, and we stand outside Smith's and things like that and ask for food, and then we donate that to the food bank. I'm sure you guys could do something similar to that as well.
Okay.
But yeah,
And then like when you do your Christmas party, is that a family event or is that just an agent event?
it's agent and like a partner and a spouse or something. We do that. And then the picnic that we do is for families. It's for everybody to come.
Okay.
And then we usually cater that. And you guys could do the same. We could help you with that, show you what we have done in the past. Or we could do something, maybe we could have a Boo Bash together and we alternate. We come to the valley, we come to Evanston. But just make it easy to get to know one another. Yeah.
And further down the road, I mean, I would say if everything goes well and we intermingle in the whole 9 yards, even looking at bringing on affiliates and
Yeah, usually affiliates, that's who helps do these, Boo Bash and, we like to have their, input. I was gonna look at what we did for our budget for the year. I've got it somewhere in here. How much, you guys don't do education, then? Does the state bring education to you guys?
No, Missy tried here a little while ago, I know. I don't think that was successful. There again,
No,
I
and
think it's because we're all disbanded.
Sure.
we did have, who was that brought the CEs to Evanston? We had 2 days where Bonnie, who brought
Was
that?
it
Do you
War?
remember?
Was it War? I think it
Yeah,
was.
I think it
my
was.
eighth.
Yeah, I think it was. So
And
we
then they
did
just
get
reimbursed
2 days of education this year.
Well, we've got 3,500 set aside for education this year. And then we usually send, the president to nationals. And then we send people to state. And then we send people to legislative. The reason that we're down from 80,000 is because we've got two, state presidents back to back. So we have the current, state president and then the next state president. We have to host their inauguration parties. I have no idea. It's a waste of money. It's what I know. So that's why we're down another 20,000. It was like 18,000, I think. So, but yeah, so we try to reimburse that. So if you guys wanted to send someone to nationals, that would be, because I think we've got 5,000 set aside for that, 1,500 set aside to send someone to state, 600 set aside to send someone for legislation. And to reimburse, right? And then 3,500 for education. We've had $5,000 before for education, but it looks like we didn't use it. So that's why we brought that down.
So, and the education part, so like every few years, what we've been trying to do is bring our requireds, right? Like, and then the
Well, and
other
some
year.
electives too, because it can get pretty boring.
Exactly. So not, like that's for everybody to keep up on their own when they're gonna need their requireds, but we do have one scheduled, I think, for this fall in October. And, if you guys joined, obviously, as far as I understand, then that would be available to you guys as well.
Yeah. And we would like to bring it back and forth. Obviously not.
It is already free, but
We don't want to afford it in Sweetwater County. We would like to alternate it and bring it closer to you guys because that's what's fair.
yep. And then on the off years, so like then in the 2 years, then we try to bring other electives. Like we had a guy come in, I guess last year, and brought in an elective for 6 hours continuing education. So we try to do different things, to help improve and educate and not just the same old, same old. So
I know I can probably have numbers, at least an answer for you guys by the end of the month. I don't see that being a problem.
Okay.
that would be awesome. Thank you, Bobby.
So if everybody can just have an answer for us, I guess by the 31st, then because the first will be a Friday. Let's set that as a goal. So July 31st, if everybody can have an answer by then. And if you have an answer before, let us know.
I can go ahead and commit now for my office.
And how many is that, Brittany?
4.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, you guys have our emails, you have our cell phone numbers. If there's additional questions that you have, you can call or text me. I'm sure Abby's the same way. You can call or text her.
Absolutely. Yep.
Can share whatever we have. I'd be happy to be an open book and let you guys see everything. Is there anything you guys want PDF style that would help? Is there anything that you guys need going forward?
I think the one that you sent is is pretty self-explanatory. But if we all just know that it's going to be what the approximate annual fee would be to join the board, just so that we can share that with our agents, then that would be great, which I think you've already given us, so.
All right, so we'll have the deadline July 31st. And if we don't hear from you, we'll just assume that it's a no. And that's fair. So we'll be good that way.
And then as we get more information in terms of hopefully some little bit more definite answer in terms of what that might look like bringing on a part-time AE, just so that you guys kind of, can see that, as well as we'll talk to the Sweetwater County Board and let them know, and then possibly if there's a Zoom option or something along those lines for the general meeting in August.
Well, and it's only $16 a month to have Zoom unlimited. So the board can afford that. And then, oh, I should tell you too, we're looking at bringing on Forewarned. I got a bid from them last week, and then I said, well, it could be over 100 agents. So I'm waiting for a phone call back from Forewarned. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that app, but you're able to put a client's name in, a phone number in, just see who you're meeting. Are you really meeting the person that they say they are? And I had one that I used last year, and he was not who he said he was. So I took some backup with me. My husband's about 6'2", and that guy did not stop. So it's I don't know. I can't say it saved me, but it definitely made me feel better after realizing maybe this guy wasn't on the up and up. So my head's still.
Do any of you guys currently use that? Missy, do you?
Yes, we have Forewarned through the Park City Board.
Oh, okay.
And it's great. It's an amazing tool.
Okay. Well, that's what we're looking to do, is to provide that, because it is $25 a person. I pay for myself and my other agent, so it'd be nice to save $50 a month.
Well, thank you for putting all this together.
My pleasure.
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys bringing us the info.
You bet.
Thank you guys.
Yeah. Any other questions? Feel free to reach out. Thank you guys for taking time to meet with us.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
We appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Have a great day.
You guys too.